All right, hey, it's Ronin, man. Today we're going to talk about setting your life up for success. You know, a lot of guys, they live in cities where there aren't many girls, right? You know, there's not much happening where they are, right? And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes you could make as a MGTOW, because in a sense, you're your own worst enemy, right? If you live in a place where there's no pretty girls, it's super easy to get weak, you know, because, you know, like, this is all you have, right? You only have, you know, you don't have many choices, right? So, you know, there's no pretty girls around. So you're like, I want to be, you know, you want to, obviously, having a girl is a nice thing, right? If you're heterosexual, right? And so a lot of guys, they live in cities where there's pretty much like no girls, right? So and they wonder why, you know, they get stuck on one girl, right? The PUAs call it one-itis, right? And they're like, why do I get stuck on this one girl, right? Why do guys put up with fat girls? No guy likes fat girls, right? You know, guys don't like fat girls. No way, right? They want to be with pretty girls, skinny girls with tight pussies, right? That's what they want. That's what guys want, right? They do not want ugly girls. They don't want fat girls. You know, they don't want boring cities. They don't want having to fight it out for some really average, you know, girl. They want to live in an area where, like, it's happening. I highly recommend moving somewhere where the girls that you like exist, right? You know, because if you look around and every girl is like super, let's say, overweight, then, you know, you can't really, I don't know what you can do with that, right? Like, what can you know what I'm saying? Like, there's you can't change that, right? As a person, you know, you can only roll with it and do the best you can, right? Like, if you look at back in the old days, in the guys were fighting in wars, and they were in the trenches. There wasn't many options for them, right? So they had no choice, but they just like guys in jail, they had sex with the dudes, right? Because that was all that was available, right? And if you're in an area where there's, like, or say you're in prison, right? You don't have too many options, so you're just going to go with whatever. You're going to go with whatever you have, right? You know, the best kind of that's around, right? So I highly recommend to move to an area where there's a lot of girls that you consider that are pretty, because it makes your life easier as a MGTOW, because you can't get stuck, like in this city that I'm in right now, Bangkok. It's almost impossible to get stuck on one girl. I mean, this is just what I'm doing right now. I'm just walking around the city. This is like a pretty busy area. Today's actually not that busy. Sometimes it's crazy with girls here right now. Actually, right now, there was a lot more girls about an hour ago. But now everybody's going and getting their makeup on and going out, getting ready to go out for dinner. It's Saturday night, right? But there's still, as you can see, there's still plenty of people. And it's pretty much like this every day of the week, right? It's a happening area, right? So I moved when I was quite young. I'm a young man. I moved to an area where there's a lot of pretty girls, or girls that I consider pretty girls, you know, that I wanted to have sex with. I highly recommend that for MGTOWs, because, you know, you're really going your own way. You don't want to be pushed around by girls. You don't want to be in a situation where you're doing things you don't want to do to please a girl. But at the same time, like, most guys don't mind that they maybe look down at night and they see a girl who's basically a pretty girl who's sucking on their dick, right? Most guys don't mind that, right? I don't mind that. And so I like to be in an area where that's most likely to happen. Of course, I want to improve myself. I was trying to get a view of what you can see down there, but let's see. I got to move around here. Let's see. I'll go to the top here. This mall was packed when the sun was setting, but now it's kind of getting quiet. Everybody's going out. This is not kind of a night area. This is basically a daytime area. So everybody's just getting their clothes, getting their makeup, moving on to the other areas, and not too far away from here. We can walk to the night spots in Bangkok. So it's you don't need a car, or you don't need any kind of hassles. You know, you don't need to make a big commitment to have a good life here. You know, so I would say if you're a MGTOW, you can do all the thinking you want. You know, you can think, oh man, I'm gonna improve myself. I'm not gonna let those girls do that to me. You know, I'm gonna beat the system and that. But I think that there's only so much that thinking can do for you. You know, there's a limit where you kind of got to say, I mean, you got to say like, I want to be in a place where the odds are high for me. You know, the odds are high for me to succeed because there's like so many girls that, you know what I mean, that I can't really lose, right? You know, it's like whichever direction I turn, right, there's going to be pretty much pretty girls cruising around, right? And that's a pretty good thing, right? You know, so I think you know, like, look at your life honestly. You know, like, do you live where you want to live, right? You know, do you see the people you want to see? You know, are you in an area where, you know, things are happening? You know, where you feel inspired, right? You feel mentally inspired, and you feel challenged, right? Like you feel like your life is exciting, and there's things to do, and you're growing, and you know, you look around. If you just see the same girls, it's easy to be what do you call it? I don't know, just get depressed, you know, and then just settle with one girl that is not really attractive to you, but that's all you got. That's all that's there for you, right? I think that you can structurally set up your life so that there's, you know, pretty girls wherever you go. You know, in Bangkok, there's a lot of pretty girls. You know, foreign girls, local Thai girls, Russian girls, American girls. There's so many pretty girls, and it just makes life easier. You know, so make your life easy, guys. Don't make your life hard. You know, if you make your life hard, you don't want to be. I don't think you want to be an angry guy. You know, you want to have a good life. You want to. Everywhere you turn, it's like new challenges. You're meeting new cool people, and you're doing things that you want to do, right? You're just kind of like bumping into people, bumping into girls. You know, maybe you have sex, maybe you don't, whatever. You know, like the next day you do with somebody else, and you know, everybody's like not taking life too seriously. In big cities like Bangkok and Tokyo, I think people take. I mean, just look around. I mean, it's hard to take one girl too seriously, right? You know, like you meet the prettiest girl, and then like, you know, like I was just talking about this with my friend, is like you meet the prettiest girl, and then like an hour later, you meet another girl, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how pretty this girl is, you know? She's unbelievable, you know? And then you think, who was that other one that I met? You know? Who is that? The one I just got the phone number from, or the one that came over last night. It's like, yeah, she was great, you know, but there's more, right? There's more. So structure your life. You want to structure it so, you know, like I talked about being unblackmailable in one of the first episodes, and being unblackmailable is by when you put yourself in a system that is built to succeed, right? You know, so that it's not set against you, right? Because if the system is against you, you can fight against the system, but it's really tough to beat the system on a regular basis, every single day, day in and day out, right? You want to have a situation where the system is in your favor. It's set up the way you want it to go, and you know, you can kind of like, you might make a mistake once in a while, but the system is set up well, so you know, as long as you keep trying and you get back on track, you're fine, right? It's not gonna take you down because you made one mistake, right? If you're in a bad area and there's only like a couple pretty girls, or you know, girls that you consider prettier around, and then you know, next minute you're alone, and you know, you're having a hard time meeting people, and like everybody knows you and they think you're girlfriend of this other girl. I mean, around here you could date any of these girls and then like 20 minutes later go to the bathroom and come back, and then you know, like nobody would even know who you are, right? You know, like in Tokyo, I can walk around all day and it's like I don't even know anybody, right? It's like every day is new, right? Every day is totally fresh, right? You know, so I think this is what I prefer, and I think a lot of my friends, when they come visit, they often say the same thing. It's like, it's just such a relief, you know. And I think also, you know, the girls too, they become more easygoing in a place like this, you know. They don't take it so damn serious about everything, because it's like life is not meant to be like that, you know. I don't think anybody wants to be like that. People want to have fun, right? Girls want to have, remember that song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun? It's really true. Girls do want to have fun, you know. I think a lot of MGTOWs don't realize that, is that girls are awesome. They can really be a big benefit and a big cool part of your life, you know. But if you get one-itis, where you're set on one girl, and that's like, you know, it's like you always think about her and everything, and then And then then you get angry, and you get frustrated. I mean, she's not going to like it either, right? You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to like it. So set yourself up for success. I personally like to be in an area where there's a lot of young people, but I also like where things are going on, right? Where it's exciting, and I don't like to have to make a big deal out of things. Like right now, I'm just walking from my house. So it's not like I made a big deal coming down here. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go down and shoot this video. No, I just said, I can walk down there instead of walking that way. That's basically what I decided this morning. Is I think I'll walk, basically I turned right instead of left. Usually I go left. Today I turned right on the main road. And then I ended up down here. And I was going to take a video earlier, but I was talking to a friend, but there was so many girls here earlier. They're buying, it's mainly a closed shopping district right here. So it gets a little quiet in the evening, especially for the hot girls. The hot girls, they get out of here. But you can see there's still plenty of pretty girls around, so there you go. Set your life up structurally for success. And any questions, I think if you don't know a lot of cities, you might not know which ones are the best, I would say some of the finest cities would be Tokyo, Bangkok, Shanghai can be good. Let's see, what other good cities in Asia? Depends on what you like, but I think Osaka is also a very nice city. Osaka is cheaper than Tokyo, and the girls are a little different than Tokyo. They're a little bit more, what do you call it? They're not as reserved. They're a little bit more open-minded. They like more jokes and more humor, and they might wear a little more racy clothes or something, right? They might, break a few rules here and there, whereas Tokyo girls tend to be like a little bit strict on things, where they kind of like, they like, maybe they want to follow the rules or something, or they want to do it the right way, right? Osaka, they're more crazy. The girls are more crazy. So I would say any small town in Japan is good too. So basically Japan overall is very, very good. China can be quite good in the small towns, in the countryside. In the big cities, used to be quite good. I think it is still good. If you've never lived in Asia, you would definitely like any of the big cities in China. And believe me, when you're with the pretty girls, you're not going to worry about the air at all. You're going to be having a great time, and don't worry about a lot of other things. And the other thing to notice is as I walk around, there's no crime around here. Like, nobody's like threatening me. Nobody's getting robbed. Nobody feels like they're in danger, right? And that's another thing I like about Asian cities is you don't feel like nobody's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a big dangerous situation for the girls, so the girls feel safe, and they also walk around at night, and that makes it good for them, and it makes it good for us, right? So it's really the way I want to live, is in a safe city too, because I know in South America there's a lot of pretty girls, but you have a lot of danger too, which to me that takes away a lot of the fun. So I recommend going to a place that's safe. It has a lot of electricity, a lot of energy. It's got a lot of things to see where you don't have to make a big deal out of seeing them. It's not like you don't have to make big plans. You can just kind of walk outside your apartment when you get free time. And there's always something going on. Something like what we just saw here. I just went to a mall. That's all I did. This was nothing big. This was no big deal. This is Saturday afternoon now, getting on evening. I walked to the nearby mall, which actually I haven't been to this particular mall for a while, so it was kind of cool for me to see the new situation. And then the prices are low. If you live in a very expensive city, even if you're rich, it's kind of a drag because your friends can't afford it, and a lot of other people can't afford it. So I like to be in a place where everybody's kind of cool. Like, the girls are not too stressed out about money, and everybody's kind of like mellow. That if the girls have a lot of stress about money, it tends to make them more money grubbing, which makes the situation kind of rough for guys too, right? So if it's very cheap and everybody lives, they live very reasonable, like, the food is cheap, their housing is cheap, that takes the pressure off the girls, and that makes the girls a lot more, I would say, easygoing, where they're not so stressed out, they're not so worried. In a city like in Switzerland or in London, it tends to be quite stressed. Everybody's quite stressed. They're trying to pay the bills. They're trying to, make sure that they can, next month is okay, right? And they make the right decisions every day. Whereas in cheaper cities, people just kind of cruise, and the girls are easygoing, and they just kind of do their own thing, and everybody takes it a lot easier. And I think for you also, if you're thinking about visiting a city, those kind of cities are nice too, because you also won't have a lot of stress, and you'll have time to learn the lay of the land and to make friends, and whatever you want to do. You want to learn the language or something like that. You want to do something that that would make your life better. You can afford to do it. You don't have to be like, I'm going to do this. I have to make money. I have to do this right away, and I can't wait 10 minutes. I got to save money. I got to earn the maximum money. That's not the way you want to get to a new city. You want to get there, have 6 months to do nothing, right? We can just kind of cruise around and get the lay of the land and meet some people, get a few girlfriends, and then start thinking, hey, what do I want to do next, right? What's my next move? What's my next plan, right? All right, so this is Ronin Man. Now this is kind of a little bit of a digital nomad type of episode, but it's like setting your life up for success, and that means usually being in a place, if you're fishing, right, and there's no good fish around where you're fishing. No matter how good of a fisherman you are, you can't catch any good fish, right? So if you're in an area where there's tons of good fish, you can almost reach out and grab them with your hands, right? So I prefer that myself. Either way, if you have any questions about cities, I've been in many, many cities. I've traveled my whole life. I'd love to answer any questions about what's the best city and why. I'll give you my honest opinion, and it changes over time because cities change, right? Cities change. Right now, Bangkok is very, very happening. And when I came here the first time almost 30 years ago, it wasn't so happening. It was like a completely different city. And now it's it's getting very cool. A lot of IT workers, a lot of technology. Agoda's coming into town. I made a lot of guys working women into working at Agoda, programmers. They're all moving in town. So they're getting the IT business here. The Queen Secret, she's really encouraging people to start technology related companies, and they're giving all kinds of tax breaks and stuff like that. So that's your thing, then Bangkok would be quite good. Also the visa situation is pretty mellow in Bangkok, so that's another really good thing. But there are plenty of other places too. So either way, thanks for listening, guys. It's Ronin Man signing off, and tonight's going to be a wild night. Got a friend in town, so I will catch you guys later.